Today on Talking Solutions, we're going to be discussing Nevada Pep. We have Stephanie Vrsnick and Robin Kincaid. You ladies both with Nevada Pep?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I've heard of it, but I was just saying to Stephanie a moment ago before we started the show, I'm not exactly sure of everything that you guys do.
Nevada Pep is a nonprofit organization that helps families of children with disabilities. We're all parents of children with disabilities, and we serve families that have children ages 0 to 26. One of our focus is bullying, and so we really like to talk a little bit about that today because bullying is something that a lot of our families experience. Children with disabilities are very vulnerable, and often they are in a situation where they are bullied and they don't report it, or they may, in some instances, because they are children with disabilities, could be nonverbal and don't have the opportunity to be able to express how they're being bullied or how someone's bothering them.
We hear about stuff like that on the news all the time too, Robin. It's just sad because we're dealing with kids, and kids who are already dealing with obstacles and challenges. I'd hear about a bus driver, maybe with the school district, who had berated and been verbally very abusive to a child who didn't deserve this in any way, shape, or form. I got to thinking about it before we started the interview today, and I was thinking about bullying. It's something that we need to shine a light, and is it awareness? Because this has existed since I can remember, and even back in the days when you'd watch the Little Rascals shows, or you'd watch that movie Christmas Story, part of the storyline is the bullies who come and mess with the little kids. It's like bullying has existed pretty much forever. Are we now putting our foot down and saying, this is just unacceptable? It's got to stop.
Terry, back in our days, bullying was teasing, and it wasn't taken to the level that it is today. With our technology, we've come so far, but once it's on Facebook or it's on the internet, everybody knows about it. When I was going to school, it was between me and you, and it stopped. But this continues on forever. It's at a different level today.
Stephanie, you're totally right about that. You hear and you see stuff's going viral. It's a video that girls have shot just abusing someone that they're in school with. And then they put it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would imagine that helps to account for this explosion in bullying incidents.
It does. And it has increased on the suicide rates also. Very sad. It really is. We get calls from parents at Nevada Pep where my child is afraid to go to school. My child doesn't want to go to school. And the statistics show that every 7 minutes a child is bullied on the playground, or 43% of children are harassed in the restroom. Can you imagine going to school and not wanting to go to the restroom all day because you're so afraid of a bully? So the parents that come to us, this is part of the things that Robin does with our trainings. We educate parents about bullying prevention and how to recognize if your child is getting bullied and what to do. What are the strategies that parents can take?
So through Nevada Pep, Robin, you actually have classes or seminars. Do you bring the parents in and tell them what to look for? What are some of the signs that a parent should be observing?
Some of the signs that a parent would want to watch is if their child is refusing to go to school, or their child is showing some signs of some physical ailments, headaches or stomach aches, or the child's become more withdrawn. But the bullying, the impact of it is certainly in education and how kids do in school. The other aspects that it can affect their health, and certainly children feel unsafe sometimes in school. So the kinds of things that we provide is helping families understand what is bullying, that it's not a conflict between two students. It's really an imbalance of power. It's where one child is showing power over another, whether it be physical power or just emotional power. So even pretending to hurt another child is a form of bullying because you're making the child feel unsafe. So the classes that we provide are helping families understand that. And as Stephanie mentioned, we talk about the strategies and what can parents do? How can they work with the school to resolve this issue? Can we develop a safety plan for that student? Can we help both the bully and the target of bullying get some help so that we can stop this behavior?
We all know that we've seen the stories and heard about them on the news about kids who actually commit suicide because they're being bullied. I know of a young girl, I don't remember her name, but I remember her father talking about it and going to the school district after the fact and saying, you've got to do something about this. It's too late to do anything about his poor daughter, but to keep it from happening again, that's the hope.
Very much so. You're correct, Terry. We've worked closely with the gentleman you're referring to and working with other parents that have strong concerns about bullying, giving them some options, some ideas, helping them understand some of the new Nevada legislation that's come out that will actually help in trying to stop the bullying, insisting that the school respond in meeting those timelines and that parents are notified when there is a bullying incident.
We're talking with Nevada Pep, and we've got Stephanie and Robin. We're discussing bullying and putting some teeth into the laws or the ordinances to compel a school district or a group to act on this. Look, when you get a report, you've got to do something about it. It's got to help.
Definitely think that that is the direction as a state. We're actually leading other states in the nation because our bullying laws have become so much stronger and so much more detailed. And then there's opportunities for parents to actually file a complaint with the state if they feel that the situation has not been handled appropriately by their school district.
You're saying Nevada's leading in something, and we never really lead in very much. So when we're really on the cutting edge of anything, I want to jump up and scream about it. That is wonderful. It's a terrible thing, and it's wonderful that Nevada is actually taking steps to try to help remedy the situation. You were also mentioning that Nevada Pep deals with children who have disabilities, so they are certainly more prone to be bullied, I'm sure.
Right, and some of the characteristics they often display is that vulnerability. They may not respond appropriately. They often maybe stay more isolated. Those are all factors that can contribute to a child being bullied. But the concern is also, what does it do to the whole environment and culture in the school itself if children are being bullied? Are other children that have not been bullied worried they're going to be next? So it's not just affecting two individuals. It can affect the entire school culture if the bullying isn't stopped right when it begins.
And is there some kind of pressure on the other side for the kids who aren't being bullied, that in order for them to avoid it, they join in with the perpetrators?
That can happen as well. We're trying to work along with the school district who is working on a program about being an upstander. In other words, not just being a bystander, to speak up for individuals that are bullied and to not join in on that.
For our kids with disabilities, a lot of times they don't recognize that they're being bullied. They want to have friends. This is their way that they think that they have friends. So they are the topic of teasing and the topic of making fun of, but they don't know that. And they think they have friends, and they don't. It's just very, very sad.
It really is. And Stephanie, I would imagine that these kids, they want more than anything to make friends and to have some popularity, that connection, that interaction with other children. But the way that they get that is that kids are picking on them.
Right. And then they think that that's their friends. My son is 30. He's autistic, and when he was in high school, there was one incident where he was in the restroom. They tried to push him in the garbage can in the restroom. And the only way that I knew about it was an adult came in and saw that and told me. I don't know if my son, if he would have said anything about it, but that is very important. The adults need to get involved when they see that that's going on. I mean, when you're trying to put someone in a garbage can, that's pretty obvious. But even if you hear the teasing or the making fun of, they need to jump in and they need to say something. They need to be the role model because they're the ones that can help to stop it, the adults.
We've got to have their back.
Exactly. And then when the kids go to the adults to tell them, they need to listen and they need to not ignore them because then they'll think nobody cares,
One of the focuses in our class, too, is helping families teach their children about the difference between telling and tattling. And so sometimes, helping with that distinction. But the adults have to model for kids that this is just not acceptable. And until the adults are stepping up and modeling and responding to bullying that's going on, whether it's just the beginning of a kid harassing another child, they just need to stop them right then and talk about how we need to be respectful and kind and accepting of all. This is a little bit about access for all students within the school to be able to experience education and to feel comfortable and safe in school.
Well, I think the dream is for kids who are a little bit different, who deal with a disability, to be able to mainstream into classes and not just be in special needs classes.
Absolutely.
And to be part of the general population. But in order to do that, we have to treat them with kindness. We have to have their back. And I think as a parent, if you hear of something happening to a child, I'm sure the last thing you want to hear is, honey, they didn't mean anything by that. Don't you worry about it. That's not where we want to go with it.
Exactly. And we do not encourage families to contact other families of a child if there's a bullying incident going on, nor do we encourage students to retaliate physically back. That's not the answer.
How do you handle it, Robin?
Well, there's direct and there's indirect strategies. Some of the direct strategies would be teaching a child that's bullied how to respond to it, depending on the situation. Creating a safety plan, creating a plan to respond to bullying is really an important thing. So it kind of depends on the frequency frequency, the location, the intensity, the type of bullying. All of those factors are going to go into where adults are helping a child that's being bullied come up with a plan that's going to help respond to it. Plus getting certainly all of the administrators, teachers, everybody on board, teaching a child that is a target of bullying advocacy techniques, learning to say no to someone, learning to tell someone to stop the bullying. These are all strategies and things that will help a child that is being bullied actually become stronger later because he's really got the information and the confidence to help stop the bullying.
Do you think that we're becoming more aware of the problem?
Absolutely. I do think we're becoming more aware of the problem. When we started these classes over 10 years ago, we actually would have parents, including especially fathers, would come in and say, well, I just tell my son to deck him back. And that really has diminished. We don't get as many parents that use that as their first. They realize that it just gets everybody in trouble. It doesn't resolve the issue, and that the retaliation piece is not a good idea. We need to stop the bullying. We also need to recognize that often bullies do it because they are low in self-esteem. So they're looking to be able to improve their confidence and their self-esteem. So we need to address it, not just tell them to stop the behavior. We got to kind of figure out what's behind the behavior.
And you think in many cases that is a situation where a kid has very low self-esteem to start with, and the way that they feel better about themselves is by slamming on some other kid, either verbally or otherwise.
And bullies learn it in the community. They learn how to bully at school. They may learn from other family members, but bullying is not developed by just at home. It's not parents that teach kids how to bully.
So there's lots of different formats where the bullying may actually originate. As you mentioned too, Stephanie, with the explosion of all of this tech with our smartphones and YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and everything else, there are so many opportunities for kids to shame other kids.
Yep. Absolutely. And that has happened. Unfortunately, the end result has been suicide. And that just needs to stop. It simply needs to stop. As Robin mentioned, when we started these trainings over 10 years ago, we did have a lot of families saying, boys will be boys.
Shrug it off.
Yeah, it's just teasing. It's no big deal. 10 years later, it's a different story. Our bullying trainings are usually very well attended because families want to know what can they do.
There's just no fixing it when a child has committed suicide, and it breaks your heart. I remember even back in the day, many decades ago when I was going through those teen years myself, that was when you were going through those difficult adolescent years to start with. Everything was hard to begin with without even that extra dimension of bullying. And I remember so many times thinking, oh, my life is over. They're already on such fragile, thin ice as their personalities are developing and they're growing. They don't understand at that age that it's going to be okay. There's stuff that we can do to help. Because after they cross that threshold and you lose a child to suicide, there's no fixing it. We can honor them after the fact, but it doesn't bring them back.
Right.
A very high percentage of teens don't report bullying. There's lots of data out there that talks about the fact that they just simply, like you said, don't know where to turn, don't think this is ever going to end, and this is it. They're done. And it is very, very upsetting.
I think it's like 47% of kids that have been bullied. Half of those think about committing suicide, and half of them have attempted suicide, which is devastating in itself. When you have a child that has tried to commit suicide and fortunately did not succeed, but how devastated that is for the families and for the parents. That's a whole other avenue to deal with.
You want to experience the feeling of failure as a parent? That child that you have protected since birth suddenly is gone? I can't even imagine the heartbreak.
Yeah, something the families never recover from. A lot of those families, though, have joined with other families and to stop the bullying. So they really tried to put some of their grief towards some action in bullying prevention, being part of legislation, being part of councils and committees, even joining in with our Run, Walk, and Roll.
I can't wait to talk about that. First, though, I do want to remind everybody we're talking with Nevada Pep. We've got Stephanie and Robin in-house. Nevada Pep, I notice on your website, they're saying that you're celebrating 20 years of service.
Yes.
What other programs do you have? Because I definitely want to focus some more on the bullying issue, but I want to shine a light on Nevada Pep as well.
One of our programs we have is Include Me, which are 3 feet tall puppets. They're hand and rod puppets, and each of the puppets have a disability. We take the puppets out to preschools and to libraries, and we educate the little ones on bullying prevention, on disability awareness, and inclusion. They love these puppet shows, and it teaches them that a kid with a disability is just a kid. We have volunteers who have disabilities of their own, who are puppeteers, and we do these puppet skits for the children. And a lot of times when you have a child with a disability, they don't get invited to birthday parties. They don't get invited to sleepovers. So this program teaches the little ones about how to accept a child with a disability and invite them to your birthday party or invite them to a sleepover. Another program that we have is called Hand in Hand, Together We Can. We ask our families to write a short story about someone that's gone above and beyond to help a child with a disability. And what we do is we recognize that person. We give them a certificate and a lapel pin to show that we appreciate that they've gone above and beyond to help a child with a disability. You know, many times you hear about Nevada being at the bottom of the good list and at the top of the bad list. But we have good people in this state.
We do.
That do help children with disabilities. So we take all those stories over a 1-year period, and we put all those stories in a yearbook along with our annual report. We have bios of the staff. It's just a basic book about Nevada Pep. We do that every year.
The success stories.
Yes. When parents find out about Nevada Pep, many of the parents have just recently, their child has been diagnosed. They instantly bond with us because we are all parents of children with disabilities. We walk in those shoes 24/7, and our passion is to help other families, to help them with that maze, that confusion of having a child with a disability, not knowing where to go, what to do, being overwhelmed, someone to talk to. And that's what Nevada Pep does. We helped over 16,000 individuals last year. We're not a big organization, but we serve the entire state.
And you're a very necessary organization.
Yes, we are.
I always am curious to know when someone is involved with a group, like with Nevada Pep. I know, Stephanie, in your case, you said that your son is now 30. He is autistic. Robin, you were mentioning we're all parents of children with disabilities. What is your connection to Nevada Pep?
I have a daughter, Kayla, who is 23 years old, and she has Kabuki syndrome, which is kind of a rare syndrome. That's what brought me to Nevada Pep, seeking help. The kind of help that families are getting from Nevada Pep when they call every day is advocacy, information, resources in the community. Some of the families are calling just to ask questions. Other families may have a complicated or difficult situation that they want to talk to us about in relationship to getting services in the community. Maybe they're concerned that the school is not responding to them, or they're concerned that their child's been placed in a class that they didn't agree with. Those are just some of the types of situations. Sometimes behavior can cause the breakdown of relationships where the child's have more intensive behaviors, and we're talking about suspension or a pending expulsion. Those are the types of calls that we get, and so our staff will go with the family to the school and help them if they request that after we have a good understanding. So we're doing some pretty strong advocacy on a one-on-one basis, plus we're doing some systems advocacy as well. We're trying to be on commissions and councils to improve the services for children with disabilities. You know, our tagline is to strengthen families with education, empowerment, and encouragement. And we try to apply those three things in all our interactions with families, because the long term is we want to strengthen the family. Eventually, Stephanie and I will retire someday. So
No. We're all going to be here for a few more decades, right? No.
Probably. My husband says we are, but we want to make sure that families are feeling confident that they can be their child's best advocate and that they can take the situation and resolve it the next time it occurs. So we're trying to give families more tools, more ideas, and often it's done through the classes that we have, or it's done on a one-on-one basis. But we want to help families, again, be able to advocate for their child and understand this sometimes very complicated system that families with children with disabilities encounter each day.
Nevada Pep has got to be the best support group any parent with a child with a disability has. That place when you are either dealing with fresh diagnosis or you've got a set of problems in front of you dealing with problems the child has, you don't know where to turn. So hopefully the people they're in contact with, the doctor who gives the diagnosis, medical people they encounter, they say you need to call Nevada Pep.
That is true. Nevada is a very unique state. We work closely with our military families also, because being in the military and coming to a new place with no family, with a child with a disability is very overwhelming. New families who come to Nellis, they know about Nevada Pep instantly. They know to call us so we can help them. Our military families are very important to us.
Good to know, Stephanie, because we do value our military community to know that they also have that kind of support.
Yep.
I know we're also looking to heighten awareness, and you've got an event coming up to help get people more knowledgeable about all of the things that Nevada Pep is doing to help fight this bullying issue.
Yes, our 5th annual Run, Walk, Roll is coming up on Saturday, September 26th at UNLV. We are very excited about it. We're partnering with the National Bullying Center in Minnesota. October is National Bullying Awareness Month, so we're kicking it off last weekend in September to recognize National Bullying Awareness Month in October. It's Saturday, September 26th at UNLV with Mr. Chet Buchanan as our MC, and Mark Chinook from Rock of Ages is our Grand Marshal. Registration is open on our website at www.nvpep.org. They can register online. Takes about 2 minutes. Very simple. This year, we've got companies and groups that are sponsoring schools to come to this event. We've got 13 schools who have committed to come to this event and do the fun walk with us. We've got sponsors, Nevada State Bank, we've got Mutual of Omaha Bank, we've got Finley Chevrolet, the Lovas Center, our Little World Treatment Center, Councilwoman Lois Tarkanian, the Sig Miller Law Firm, Southwest Gas, Brownstein Hyatt Farber Schreck, Las Vegas Injury Law Firm, Assemblyman Richard Carrillo, and the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Each are sponsoring a school, which allows the families to come and attend the event free of charge.
That's a great idea, though. When you get a school involved with an event, like with Nevada Pep, very soon, Saturday the 26th at UNLV. But when you get a school involved, and you said you got 13 schools at this point, it would seem to raise the awareness and the discussion of the problem of bullying within the walls of that school.
Absolutely.
To the point where kids see it, or teachers or adults see it. They're going to go, whoa, 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 we were just talking about that. That does not fly around here.
Right. And at the event, they will be presented a bullying prevention banner with a sponsor's logo on it, and they will display that banner at their school. And then Nevada Pep will take information on bullying prevention to the school and promote it through the entire month of October.
Perfect. October, as you mentioned, is Bullying Prevention Month. I'm looking at the flyer for your event for the Run, Walk, Roll Against Bullying, 5th year on the UNLV campus. You've got the 5K run. You've got a 1.5 mile fun walk and roll. That's a little more manageable for me.
We've got registration opening up at 7:30. The run will start at 9 and the walk will start at 9:15. We've got awards. We want to recognize all of our sponsors. And this is a timed race, so we will be giving awards to the age categories.
This is also an education event. There's a lot of information. The entire course will have signage that will have statistics, information, strategies, ways to stop bullying. So it's really about educating the community about bullying. So we're excited and really hope the community will come out and see all of this information and really become, in their own way, champions against bullying.
This is the best time of the year to have an outdoor event in Nevada. It's beautiful.
Come out on the 26th. Take a step with PEP to stop bullying.
Good event for families.
Yep.
I also noticed there's one up in northern Nevada because you said that Nevada Pep is a statewide organization.
Yes. Our Reno office is doing their Run, Walk, Roll the next day, Sunday the 27th.
Oh, so people can go to both of them.
They could. They could
you
go to
guys
both
probably
of them.
will.
We'll also be having face painting. We've got McGruff. We've got Chuck E. Cheese. We've got the UNLV mascot. We've got 5 different mascots coming out. We've got great raffle prizes. We've got 2 Southwest tickets anywhere Southwest flies for our top raffle prize. We've got Disneyland tickets. We've got SeaWorld tickets. Great raffle prizes.
I'm sure that you're going to be on site with a lot of information, brochures, questions where people can ask you one-on-one.
Yep.
Here's what's going on with my child. What would you do? What do you suggest?
Absolutely. And that's why we're there. We did just celebrate our 20th year, but it still breaks our heart when we have a family that calls us and says, I wish I would have known about you 5 years ago. A lot of people say we're the best kept secret in Vegas.
I know you don't don't want it to be that way, do you?
We don't. We want to help all the families. Nevada Pep needs the support, too. This Run, Walk, Roll is a fundraiser for our organization to promote our bullying program so we can continue to educate families about bullying prevention. Come out, support PEP. Even if you don't do the run or you don't do the walk, a donation is always welcomed.
Get information if you only want that.
Yes.
Lots of things going to be going on at UNLV on Saturday the 26th. NVPep.org has information for you. It's going to be a great event. Would love to see a lot of people come out and support this important cause. It's the Run, Walk, Roll Against Bullying on the 26th at UNLV with Nevada Pep. Robin, I'm wondering, before we wrap up today, if a parent could use your help, your support, your awareness, your services, your information, anything. Maybe they've got a child who they either suspect or know straight out is being bullied. What should they do?
I would suggest that they call our office, and we'll certainly talk to them right then and there. There's no wait. We'll answer any questions they have right when they call on the phone. Our number is 800-216-5188. Our local number here in Las Vegas is the 702-388-8899. We would encourage them to call. Certainly if they need to meet with one of our staff, if they need more support and require or asking us to help with some of the special education concerns, because we can actually work on bullying and help a situation by maybe changing the individualized education program, but we can give families ideas, strategies. We would encourage them to come to a class. We do frequent webinars, which are listed on our website. We also have recorded webinars. We just encourage them to keep asking questions. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is that we help families learn how to ask the right questions to schools. If you don't know what questions to ask, often you can feel even more frustrated. If you don't understand what your rights are, you don't understand that this could be an access issue, then you can be very frustrated, because we all know that we need to send our children to school. So we're all about options. We're helping families learn about what their options are, whether they choose public school, private school, charter school. Those are all things. And if the family's driving it, we're here to support them what they want to do and what they decide. But they need to know what all the options are.
Nevada Pep is a resource there to help families who have children with disabilities. Got to mention again, Stephanie, you were saying that Nevada is very much in the forefront in the nation. On a good list for a change, that we are actually being very proactive and taking steps, changing rules about what school districts administrators are supposed to do when they are confronted with a bullying situation. Positive is good. And one other positive thing that's coming up, Saturday the 26th, 5th year for the Run, Walk, Roll Against Bullying at UNLV. There's a 5K timed run. There's a 1.5 mile event that is a fun walk and roll. Companies that are getting involved to sponsor the participation of 13 different schools. Sounds like a fun day. NVPep.org. NVPep.org. Is there anything I've forgotten to talk about, ladies? You let me know. What have I not asked you?
Our services are free of charge. We do not ask the families for anything. What else, Robin?
We have no waiting lists. We're here to help families. We have staff that have gone through extensive training to be able to help the families. But the thing they bring with them the most is that understanding, the capacity for being able to say to that family, I got it. I understand. I've been there with my own child. I know. So we offer a peer-to-peer support model, which really helps the families feel comfortable. We're not an organization that uses social workers or anyone like that. We're using a peer-to-peer support, again, to help the family be able to tell their story and ask questions and then work on what they would like to do next once they're provided their options.
You can call Nevada Pep anytime during business hours, and there will always be a live person answering the phone. We don't put our phones to voicemail. A lot of organizations around town, you leave your name and number, and you never get a call back. You get to speak to a live person at Nevada Pep. And we're not the typical name, address, phone number. We listen because a lot of times our families are calling us and they're very upset. So it's more important to us to let the family talk about that before we even attempt to get any kind of information. A lot of times families need that. I know I needed that with my son. The day that he got diagnosed, I'll never forget it. And it's important that families feel that they're listened to and that someone understands understands and someone gets it.
Nevada Pep has to be one of the reasons why Nevada ranks so high on that list of states that are taking proactive, positive moves to help combat bullying. Free resource for families for kids with disabilities. A lot of things offered, seminars, all kinds of information. And of course, on Saturday the 26th, the Run, Walk, Roll Against Bullying. You can still get yourself registered, be a part of it. Just go to nvpep.org. That's nvpep.org. Stephanie Vrsnick, Robin Kincaid from Nevada Pep, great organization. Like we said, free of charge. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.